Hello, my good and gorgeous people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy and glad to be back here. Thank you so much for those people who come back. Thank you for showing me much love. And thank you for always supporting Looking at Life with Latez. This is a nice place. It's a place we come learn. It's a place we come encourage each other. It's a place we come and change our lives because life, the life you're living in contains quite a lot. And this is a place where we come and talk about life issues and looking at life with Latez is a nice place. And today is a day where I want us to talk about an issue or another concerning God's awareness. As you all know, I'm one person who loves God. I'm one person who is always anticipating for people to love God and just know His word and know who He is and know His plans and maybe His welfare about us. And because that is all secret about life. In this life, if you want to succeed, if you want to go quite a mile in life, you have to know God and you have to know the promises of God and the things that God has promised us. Because the reason why most of us are losing hope and are giving up in life is because they don't know the promises of God. They don't know the assurance of God upon our lives. They don't know what God has spoken about us in His word. And it's only by knowing who God is and knowing maybe the things He anticipates to do for us and getting to know His word, it changes a lot in how we tackle things in life and how we handle things and how we just approach things. And in the times we are at, if at all you are a believer of God, you have to be a believer of God wholeheartedly. It's either you believe in God or you don't. Because you can't afford to just believe in God and you know nothing about what you believe in. Because it will not help you or it will not impact you in anything. And it's the high time I'm just encouraging us that if at all you believe in God and you feel within yourself, the only power you believe in is God. The only hope you have in life is God. Get to know this God. Get to know one or two things about this God. If at all you believe in God, get to know what does God promise me? What does He tell me? It's not just a matter of saying it with the words that I fear God, I believe in God, and I'm waiting on God. That's why you getting to realize that most of us are getting so frustrated in life because yes, you believe in God. Yes, you keep on saying that if at all you have an issue or you're just in a hard situation, you're waiting on God. But as you wait, are you doing what it takes? As you wait on God, are you doing all that is supposed to be done? Because that's where it all starts from. See, I want us to talk about the promises of God and why we should not lose hope in God. Because in the recent past few months or days, I've been interacting with various people. I'm one person who really loves to listen to people speak. Just try to give them a word or two. Not that myself I don't have issues. Not that myself I'm not also going through stuff and such like. But if at all you blessed with something, but I always feel that I always have a word or two that I can give to someone. So I've been talking to various people, and one thing I've realized, the time we are at, people are really losing hope. People are really giving up so fast, especially this young generation. And it's the high time we get to learn on how to stick and maybe to stand, maybe to stick on that hope and that focus on God. Yes, things are not working. Yes, situations are not adding up. But how can we stay focused? How can we stick onto this hope? Because yes, God has assured us that He never leaves us, He never forsakes us. But yes, there are things you'll be going through and you feel like God has forsaken you, but for sure He hasn't. Yes, God has still told us to focus on Him. At times you feel you're focusing on God and you feel like things are not yet working. We have to learn to keep focused on God. We have to learn to not like lose the track, not to miss the mark, but to remain focused on God. And as I said from the beginning, when you make a choice and a decision to trust and to hope and to believe in God and to have God as your only source of hope and your only source of help, you have to do it wholeheartedly. You have to do it 100%. Because what we are doing wrong is that, yes, we trust in God, but we trust Him halfway. We still having other sources of help. Yes, I'll say I trust of God, but I'm still having a backup plan. Why can't we go to God wholeheartedly? You go to God 100%, that you will be telling God that I'm coming to you. I don't have any other option. It's only you and it's only you. And that's what our God wants. We say that trusting on God is not something that comes just like that. You have first to know Him. Because we say that we believe by knowing. You can't believe in something that you don't know. You have first to know God. You have to know His promises so that you cannot believe in the promises. And you now await. You test your faith now. Because at times we will say we believe, but wait until you're in the position of trusting that God and you realize that you don't believe in God. And one thing that I want us to like try as much as possible to do is getting to know about the promises of God. When we read in the word in the Bible, 1,001 times we are told to trust on God, to have hope in God, and blessed are those who trust on God. Blessed are those who wait upon the Lord. Call upon my name and I'll answer. And there are so many instances that God is telling us to look upon Him and wait upon Him. There is this word that we read, and we started reading when we were so young, that we should live like the birds of the air. They are never concerned about what to eat or where to sleep. But God always provides. We should not sit and be worried about tomorrow because God is aware. One thing that I would like us to know is that we are the work of God. It's God who made us to exist. And He never brought us to this universe to suffer or made to undergo tribulation and such. We are His work. We are work of His hands. And have you ever started? We see, like we read in science and such, right? That we have so and so who started this and this, the law of who and who. And I at times try to imagine those people who like it took their time, but it never took them a day or two for them to invest that kind of law and maybe with science to like get to know if you do this and this, it will do this and such like. Those are things that didn't take them a day or two. Something that you try to make with your hands, you always try to make it to perfection. I know a person who have interacted a lot in hospitality industry, and I try to imagine the work of a chef is always to ensure that whatever he makes with his hands, it will come up to perfection, and anyone who will be eating it will enjoy the food and they will like it. Let's give a simple example of bakery. When a baker is baking a cake, it starts maybe by the ingredients, something to do with eggs, we have milk, we have sugar, we have maybe those essence and such like. And they start by bringing all those ingredients together. They know what to mix, what to start with, and all that. This is something that when you see that beautiful cake, maybe on your wedding day, on your graduation day, on that time, maybe when you have your birthday and such like, it's something that you admire. It's something you look and you're like, wow, it took time for this thing to be this smart and to be this lovely and to be this attractive. That is the work of the baker. And she'll perfect it or he'll perfect it to make sure it looks most attractive, it will be sweet and all that. And what about us who are the work of God? This is an illustration I'm trying to like get someone to understand. The work of a baker is to make that cake being lovely and all that. And don't you think that God had good desires when He was making us? We are work of His hands. And you know who God is. Now we are talking about a cake and a baker. Just a simple example. What about God? Do you think that God will just look and be okay when you're there suffering, when you're there, and you think He isn't aware? The word tells us that He holds our life in His palm this way. He can move you from here to here to here to here. Our lives are just under His palm, just on His palm. And it tells us that He knows us like He knows the count of the hair strands in our hair. Try to imagine the hair strands on your hair, the count of it. That's how God knows us. That's how well God knows us. So anything, however minute or however small you think it is, God knows it. Because you're the work of His hands. Just the way you'll hear someone complain that today's food was not good. The only person who knows what he didn't do like is the chef. The chef knows very well. Maybe when he was cooking, when he was started cooking, maybe the onion overcooked, maybe the ingredients, there's something, maybe the pepper or something that was too much and such like. So as you'll be hearing people complain, you'll be aware. Listen, our God knows us so well. We are part of His creation. We are part of His hands. He made us. I think when you get to know all these, you'll never be worried. Because you get to know that your life is not yours, but it belongs to God. And you'll be concerned to know the kind of things that He has told you to do, the kind of promises that He has given you, so that you'll be able to follow these promises and you'll have an easy time. But one thing that we are doing as Christians at times, yes, we believe in God, but we believe in God casually. We are not concerned about the depths of maybe trusting or believing in God. And my urge today is just to tell you that God is aware of your situation. God is aware of your circumstance. God is very much aware. He's just waiting to see what you're doing about it. Whether you're saying yes, you believe in God, or you're saying yes, I've trusted on God and I've written on God, but why are you losing hope? Yes, you have trusted on God for a year or two, but now you're losing hope. You were never assured that you should trust God for a certain duration of time. You should trust God to the end of time. There's no duration of trust or hope and faith and belief and all that. It's doing it to totality, doing it to the till end, not losing hope, not giving up. It's until our things work out. If at all you're trusting God on something, if it has not yet worked out, you have no reason of giving up. You have no reason of losing hope. What you need to do is reading more on God's promises, reading more on God's assurance, getting to know of what God has told you in relation to the aspects. He tells us that blessed is the man who keeps his focus and believes in Him. He tells us that blessed is that man who remains focused in Him. He remains like a tree planted by the waterside that is never worried, even in times of drought. Because in one way or another, it never dries up. Trusting in God is never in vain. Keeping your hope in God is never in vain. He rewards, and He rewards in a better way. There is no word that God has spoken in the Bible that goes out just like that. It must get fulfilled, and it is fulfilled in the lives of people. The lives of people who are focused on God, people who believe in God, people who are not in any time losing hope. You have no reason of losing hope. Because by the time you're losing hope, you're trying to look for a second option. And as we said from the beginning, God is our one and only option. We're not trusting on any other thing or anyone else. Our hope, our trust is in God in the time. That's what God wants. Some trust in chariots, others trust on horses. But blessed is the man who trusts on God alone. You'll never be ashamed. Have you ever read the part of the Bible that tells us that you'll feed on poison, food that is meant maybe to finish you or to kill you, and it will not harm you? That is what God does. But we read of the story of the people like Daniel. After being thrown in the den of lions, the lions didn't kill him. In our human perspective, we knew and we really believed that you cannot stay in one place with a lion. But Daniel did. We read the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego staying in the fire, and it didn't burn them. This is the kind of God we are talking about. A God who changes not. A God who is not limited by circumstance. It doesn't matter in our human perspective what we believe. We see the kind of Elisha being fed by birds, ravens, and he was fed meat there in the wilderness. This is the kind of God we're talking about. A God who is limitless, a God who never follows protocols, a God who never follows the norm. You see, if you're expecting God will come into that way that you believe, you need to just give your mind an open mind and you believe that God can do anything. He tells us that he does immeasurably beyond our thoughts and our desires. That's who God is. And that's what no man has thought of, that was no man have imagined. That is what he's promising to do for us. We need to test this God. I don't know whether there's anything extraordinary that have ever happened to your life and you're like, I didn't expect this. This is what God promises us. Who immeasurable, beyond our thoughts, our desires. That what no man has seen, thought of, and even imagined. That is what God can do. Are we there to believe and await these things? All you're doing is losing hope and just trusting beings of the world. You just undergo a simple issue and you're like, I am no longer believing this God. I don't think I'll believe in this God again. You're losing hope so fast. We are not patient. We are not waiting upon this God with that urgency. We are not keeping up to the promises of God upon our lives. That's why we are feeling so discouraged, simply because of simple things. And I told you it is never lost until you're no longer alive. As long as you're alive and you're kicking, just know it's not all lost. We read the story of Job. He lost everything. To a point he was even ill and full of sores on his body. You can imagine such kind of illness. It means that he couldn't have gotten out of his house. That's how bad the situation was. But Job didn't get an instance that he mocked God. He didn't get an instance that he was like, I've waited on this God, and all that is happening, my things are getting worse. Because that is what was happening in his life. I know there's someone there out here, like, the more you trust on God, the more things are getting worse. Maybe God wants to test you more. Maybe God wants to see whether, if this gets worse, you don't trust on this God. Do you have another option? Is God your only option? Because when I read the story of Job, I feel that Job didn't have any other option. His option was just waiting on God. He believed whatever circumstance, whatever issue, only God who could have gotten him out of. He lost everything, but God rewarded him in double portion. Because God is a rewarder. Because he was watching. You see, from the time he was losing his animals, his children, everything, God was watching. That's why I'm telling you, whatever you're going through, imagine God is aware. You are his work. He is aware. There's nothing that is happening that isn't aware. There's nothing that catches him by surprise. Nothing. It doesn't matter whatever you've lost. It doesn't matter whatever has happened in your life. He's very much aware. He's just waiting to see. And all I always say is that never compare yourself with someone else's life. You are tested differently and you are made different. We are work of his hands. He made us in his own image and creation. And that's why we are made with various capabilities, we are made with various strongholds, weaknesses, and all that. That's why at times, even during testing and during God's making us to be his light vessels, we cannot be made in the same aspect. So maybe if this and this is happening to someone, don't look and say, for this and this one, he waited for a month and this was done to him. It may not be a month for you. It may not be a year for you. There's some of us who will wait for 5 years, others will wait for 1 year. Don't be there to compare yourself with other people. No, no. You never know the kind of battles they are fighting in their closets. Maybe whatever you are seeing is just a fraction. You never know what else they are fighting. Maybe you yourself, you're fighting with financial issues. There's someone else, it's marriage issues. Others is health issues. Others, maybe it's parenting. We all have different issues we're battling with. And at times, never look at mine and you feel like it's simpler than yours. You never know the depth. And you never know maybe for how long I've been fighting this thing. I've been maybe trying. You never know how long I've troubled with this issue. Your concern should be focusing and putting your focus on God. We can't just afford to be losing hope so easily. We can't just afford to getting so discouraged. You lose hope in everything and you start having a reckless life. You just living so recklessly just because you have lost hope in everything. No, we can't afford. Not when God exists. Not when our God is up in heaven. Not when we are the work of God. Don't you believe that you are son or a daughter of God? Because myself I do. I can't just lose hope. Remembering that I'm a daughter of the most high God, I can't. I'll just make my grievances, my needs, and my desires known to Him. And I'll keep my trust on Him. And I'll keep my entire focus on Him. One thing I always say that I better die believing. I better die trusting. I better die waiting on this God. Because He can't allow it to happen. Because He is a good God. He is a gracious God. How I wish we all have an understanding of who God is. How I wish we make the Bible our friend, to get to know about the promises of God, to get to know of the assurance of God. Why can't we just do the much you can do? Just tell yourself that do not trouble yourself any longer. That you keep your burdens and your worries, you cast them unto Him. He is aware. We have to make prayers our lifestyle because this is the only communication we can make to our God. Instead of losing hope, why can't you add up onto your prayer life? Those hours you just spending outside lamenting to people and just ranting aloud on how maybe things are not working for you. Why can't you spare those time to speak to God? Why can't you add up onto your prayer life some of these hours that you're spending on these unnecessary things? Because God is not a man that he can lie. Neither is he a son of man that he speaks of something and he fails to do it. All these promises, he does them. And I think in an instant or another, you have witnessed God do for people. If not in the present life, in the stories in the Bible, we can read and see instances where God did it. So I don't think you have any reason to keep yourself so worried. Why can't you surrender? Why can't you let it be God? And you see, you're not ashamed. Give it a last trial. If you feel like you've given it all, give it the last trial. Try God the last time. And you'll feel and you testify that He never leaves His own. This is the one that I want you to take home. You try one more time. Trust in God in totality and in fullness. We are not losing hope. It doesn't matter however things become tough, but as far as God still exists and we are still alive, that is the avenue that we have to use to utilize. Just worship Him, wait upon Him, pray unto Him, and to keep our focus and trust in Him. He does. He does. This God does. And if you want to remain a testimony, just try Him one more time. If you're there, you feel so discouraged. You feel like you're losing it. May it be your business, may it be in your marriage, may it be in your child upbringing. At times, parenting is not so easy. May it be in your parenting. You feel like things are not working. May it be in whichever aspect of life you are in, and you feel things are not, even health wise. At times, health issues can become an issue into our lives. Maybe you're out of this sickness to another, and you're to a point you're like, God, all is this that I've done. You feel like even you ever like avenged God. You sit and you're like, what did I ever do? No, just keep your focus on God. Get to know the aspect of God in whatever you are going through. Seek God. Our God is so good. He hears us and He answers. I don't know whether you ever sit and communicate with God. Yes, we pray, but do you ever sit to listen to whatever God is telling you? And God will not always speak when you, and God does not speak when you just there. He will speak when you're in prayers, He will speak when you're in meditation, He will speak maybe through your spiritual readers and such like. Yes, through dreams and through visions. This is how God speaks. Are you attentive? Are you spiritually awake to hear when God is speaking? Are you in an aspect where you can hear God speak, or your life is just in crisis until you never sit down, you never have a minute or two to think about your life. You never have a minute or two to embark on God's faithfulness about your life. All you do is complain. All you do is rant around. We have to have those times of me, I, and myself, and welcome God in those moments. It's when you get to see of what God has done for you. You get encouraged that you'll do more. It's when you get to embark on God's faithfulness all along your life. You keep and you trust that He'll do more than even what He has done. But if you're very ungrateful, if you are forever ungrateful of the little things that God has done for you, those 1,000 little miracles, those million little miracles, you have to like appreciate them. You have to be grateful about them. And by this, it will give you an assurance that God can even do more and more, more and more. We have to trust on this God. Some trust on chariots, others on horses. But blessed is the man whose hope is focused on Him. He remains like a tree planted by the waterside that never withers, even in times of drought. How good it is to trust on God. What a blessing it is to wait upon this God. Mark, the story of Job is a very good story to encourage you. Doesn't matter what you've lost. Doesn't matter what you've lost. Of importance is He is able to repay in double portion. And if it's the will of God for you to lose it, let it be. Because He will reward you. And He rewards in a better way. So whatever you've lost and you feeling that you have to dwell in it, just leave it. If it's the will of God, let it be. He's a rewarder and He rewards always. So if you're there, you're feeling and you're like at the verge of losing hope, fast one more time. He says that we need to just have a little faith, that as little as a mustard seed. And as little as a mustard seed, you see how a mustard seed looks like. Very minute thing. That is the only faith that God is requiring from us. We know very well that we are human beings. And the aspect of worrying is in us. That's why He keeps on reminding us in His word that we should not be worried. We should not We should not be worried about tomorrow. We should not just such things. He knows very well we are human beings because we are work of His hand. He created us, and He knows that there are things that have to worry us. That's why He keeps on reminding us: do not fear, do not be worried, do not worry. And we have to keep being reminded because He knows we are human beings. So one thing that we have to like promise ourselves, and we have to like keep on reminding ourselves that there's nothing more that is required of us. That whatever is required of us is just a little faith, as little as a mustard seed. And this is able to move a mountain because it's by believing in God, it's by knowing God you'll be able to believe in Him. So first know Him, believe in Him, and you'll be able to move mountains. Doesn't matter however high, big it are, as little faith as that of a mustard seed, it can move mountains. So I don't know the kind of mountain that is in your life right now. I don't know the kind of storm that you are in right now. I don't know. And as I said that, even when God seems silent, always know that He speaks. Let's put our trust on God. Let's believe in Him. Let's have hope in Him. Fullness of time I know will come and will do us. I hope is that someone gets encouraged. That's my prayer. My prayer is someone to get encouraged somewhere. My prayer is that whatever you are going through, may God win it for you. The struggle you are in right now, may God succeed it for you. May God quicken that answer you are awaiting for. May God hasten anything that you feel has taken so long. Before you lose hope, like we say, before we read the story of Jesus and Lazarus. Before, yes, Lazarus had died, but before he started smelling, Jesus came and he raised him. So even in your issue right now, before it gets to extreme, may God come through. Before you are to a point of divorce in that marriage, you feel like you've tried it all. That right now the only thing that is coming in your mind is divorce. Before you divorce, may God come through. Maybe it's in your business. You feel like now, if you get to another 1 or 2 months, with however situations are like now, you close up that business. Before you get to a point of closing up that business, may God come through. Maybe you don't have rent to pay your house. You feel that your landlord has threatened you 1 and 2 times of closing the house before your house has been locked. May God come through. May God come through. Maybe it's illness. You are to a point you have utilized each and every single coin that you had. You've used your savings. You have even sold your assets. So that maybe it's the illness of a family member, an illness maybe of a child, a parent, or a relative. You feel like it's all lost. Before you lose hope, may God grant the person who is ailing healings. Before it gets worse, maybe you're dealing with a certain kind of addiction and you feel that you've tried everything. Before it's all lost, may God appear, may God come through. This is my prayer for you. May God come through. Maybe it's your child. At times, parenting becomes so hard. You feel like you're losing hope and you're to a point of even disowning that daughter or that son of yours. They have done all sorts of things. You've tried. At times, maybe it's you've even got to rehab because of maybe alcoholism and such like. You've taken them to each and every place you feel that can work for them to have at least a better life. You feel you've tried everything. Before you lose hope, may God come through. As he came through in the family of Lazarus. Yes, Lazarus had died. Yes, everything that you thought could never have happened. So it's all lost. May God come through. If God had the power to raise the dead, what is that? That is this gift that He can't give to you. It doesn't matter whatever you have lost. But before it's all lost, may God come through. Before you make that decision of maybe committing suicide, before you make that decision of losing your life, may God come through. May God come through for you. This is my prayer. May God come through for you. May God come through for you. Because I know there's never a man that he can lie. There's never a son of man that speaks of something and he fails to do it. This is our belief. This is our belief that we have. Until next time, and until next time, bye. Love you guys.